Crikey! We all know the word made famous by Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter, a man passionate about wildlife conservation. It was this very passion that would get him killed in one of the most gruesome ways imaginable. This is ultimate misfortune. Tragically, TV icon, the Crocodile Hunter Steve Irwin died while recording an episode for his daughter Bindi's show on the Great Barrier Reef 18 years ago. A stingray's lethal attack turned an otherwise routine encounter into a tragic twist. Even now, fans across the world mourn the loss of this legend, probably because of what he said right before passing away. After days of what would have been Steve Irwin's 62nd birthday, his final words have been made public, and they are eerie. Tragically, the adored wildlife expert was attacked and killed by a stingray while filming at the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. His death stunned the entire world. Flowers, candles, plush animals, and touching messages were left behind by thousands of fans who came to the Australia Zoo to grieve. The mogul's death was so shocking that it is alleged that devastated fans in Australia committed retaliatory crimes, targeting and mutilating at least 10 stingrays on beaches. But how did it all happen? Steve wasn't even supposed to be at the sea that day. In a parallel universe, it would have been another boring day for him, where he would have laid back and prepared for his next shoot. Yet quite unexpectedly, Steve Irwin ended up in the water that day due to a twist of fate. According to reports, the weather prevented him from filming his show Ocean's Deadliest, which was originally scheduled to air. So attempting to salvage the situation, Steve, his cinematographer Justin Lyons, and director John Staton opted to go out on Bat Reef, which is off the shore of Port Douglas, in a tiny inflatable boat. As expected, Steve went on an impromptu hunt for videos that would be perfect for his daughter Bindi's channel, Bindi the Jungle Girl. And as John reflects on the incident today, he recalls he had been filming for his own show, Ocean's Deadliest, but suddenly he said he was off to seek out some normally harmless stingrays. It should have been a routine encounter for a TV show aimed at children. As normal as it could be, Steve and Justin slowly dove into the water, hoping that the usually restrained creature would swish away as Steve got closer, providing them with the ideal opportunity for their filmmaking project. But things went horribly wrong when the stingray, sensing it was surrounded, acted aggressively. The beast quickly raised its jagged tail as Steve dove under it, unleashing an outburst of attacks in an instant. At first, Justin didn't realize how serious the attack was, so he kept filming. But when he turned the camera on Steve, the sight of blood all around him sent shivers down his spine, a terrifying sign that something had gone very wrong. Justin then dragged Steve onto their inflatable boat and dashed back toward the safety of the main vessel, Croc 1, as the cameras were rolling. At the same time, Steve was in excruciating pain as the poison coursed through his body. Even then, it wasn't clear to the team how south everything had gone. As Justin reflects on the event today, he describes how he monitored the stingray's movements with his camera while it swam away. Its destructive potential was completely unknown to me, according to Justin. It wasn't until I turned the camera back and Steve was standing in a huge pool of blood that I realized something had gone wrong. According to the first account, Steve had taken the barb out of his own chest, which is thought to have played a role in his unfortunate death. Justin, though, made it clear that no barb was left behind, and their first worry had been that Steve had punctured a lung, a terrible but perhaps curable injury. Yet returning to the boat, Justin and Steve were faced with a dark truth as fluid and blood gushed out of a 2-inch wide wound over Steve's heart. At that moment, Steve was haunted by the unsettling realization that his chances of life were slim given the seriousness of his injuries. Of course, he was finding it difficult to breathe. The severity of the damage to his heart meant that there was little hope of saving him, even if his team had been able to transport him to the emergency department at that moment, as Justin relates. At that moment, desperation set in as they hurried back to Croc 1. They begged Steve to keep going, to remember his children and wife, and to resist the approaching night, while Justin desperately encouraged another crew member to apply pressure to the wound. However, Steve maintained an impressive level of composure despite all the chaos. He calmly accepted his fate in response to Justin's panicked cries and mentioned his team to stop trying so hard, proving his reputation for composure even when threatened. He just looked up at me, his eyes unwavering, and quietly uttered, "I'm dying." Justin confessed during his various interviews with the media later on, those last words hanging in the balance. It is also reported that with everyone else back on Croc 1 and things heating up and Steve simply losing himself, Justin still stepped in to do whatever he could to save Irwin. As per details revealed by members of the crew, Justin tried saving Irwin's life for an awful hour, giving mouth to mouth in a vain attempt to fight the inevitable. However, no matter how hard they tried, Steve's once lively spirit faded away just like that, and nothing's ever been the same since. Meanwhile, 17 years after Steve Irwin's terrible death, no one knows what happened to the footage that captured his terrifying last moments. It is believed that authorities quickly obtained the videos, which had been recorded for the TV show Ocean's Deadliest, to help with their investigation into Steve Irwin's tragic death. However, after the 2007 inquiry into Steve Irwin's death was concluded, the footage documenting his last moments was returned to the authorities, except for the one that was specifically delivered to Terry. The rest were destroyed. Currently, the mysterious whereabouts of this last tape have sparked curiosity, with many speculating that it could be hidden in a dusty police vault, out of sight from the public eye, because who would in their right mind destroy video footage of one of the world's bravest final moments? It is also worth mentioning that Irwin had given his workers express orders to record every single moment, no matter what, and to immaculately turn over any disturbing material to the police who were looking into the matter. According to Tommy Donovan, Irwin's IMDb biographer, he tells his camera crew to always be filming. If he needs help, he will ask for it. Even if he is eaten by a shark or croc, the main thing he wants is that it be filmed. If he died, he would be sad if no one got it on tape. And even while Irwin was passionate about filming every event, his trusted director and closest confidant John Stainton vowed to keep the tape out of public view. In what felt like an emotionally charged interview, Stainton revealed, "When that is finally released, after being investigated, it will never see the light of day. Ever. Ever. I actually saw it, but I don't want to see it again. I would never want that tape shown." According to reports, when Irwin had been declared as deceased by the concerned authorities, the 6-hour seaplane ride back from Cairns was filled with heartbreaking grief, and Stainton found himself traveling with Irwin's lifeless body in that plane. Stainton spent much of the ride alone with his thoughts and recollections, struggling with his emotions and letting his tears flow uncontrollably. "I traveled on the plane with him for 6 hours, just him and I," Stainton revealed. "For 5 hours, I couldn't stop crying. It was devastating." The funeral for the mogul was broadcast internationally as millions of people paid their respects at the Australia Zoo in Queensland, which was once a cherished place in his heart. Fast forward to today, Steve's eldest daughter is married and a successful businesswoman, while Robert Irwin shares many traits with his late father, including a love for nature conservation. From the very beginning, Robert continued in his father's footsteps as a wildlife conservationist. He even survived a botched snake rescue that was nearly identical to his father's own experience. Obviously, not everything is peachy for the family. Steve's sudden death did put a strain on things. For example, Bindi's shocking accusation that her estranged grandfather, Bob, ignoring her since she was a child, exposed the breach in the Irwin family overnight. Even then, Irwin's small but essential family, wife Terry, and children Robert and Bindi, has continued to carry on his legacy. In continuation of Steve's conservation work, the family takes care of the Australia Zoo, while even making an exceptional appearance on the Animal Planet for the show Crikey. Thanks for taking the time to watch our video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new video. Hit that like button and leave a comment. And if you have any suggestions or requests, let us know in the comments. Thanks again for watching Ultimate Misfortune.